Reviewers have been so impressed by your Pinots in particular, and your Bergstrom Vineyard 2009 Pinot Noir and Cumberland Reserve have been called hugely ambitious, truly excellent, exuberant yet complex, like such shining reviews. How do you not have your head explode over those and keep your shoulder to the wheel of what you're doing?
The reviews from critics are fantastic. We thank the opportunity to have our hard work validated. A bottle of wine from Bergstrom represents about 1,000 days of our lives of work. And so the reviews from critics are obviously great. What's even more important than that, though, is some of the feedback we get from consumers, wine club members, other people. Every year, regardless, every year on Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, we get inundated with pictures of them and our bottle next to the tree or at the table, and they just send them off with one words of awesome or great. And actually, several years ago when Hurricane Katrina came through, we had a couple send us a picture of this bottle of Bergstrom that was completely tattered and torn. It was the only thing that had survived when their house went down.
That's a great story.
And they drank that bottle at their anniversary a few years later. And it's those stories like that that I think, the validations, the points, the critics is great. We love hearing from the consumer.
You're never supposed to ask a father who his favorite child is, but can I ask a winemaker what his favorite wine has been?
Well, I get that question a lot, and people always say, your wines are like your kids, and I say, no, I love my kids more than my wines. But if I had one favorite wine, I'd only make one. And so we make 9 Pinot Noirs and 2 Chardonnays and a Rosé. I like them all for different reasons. Just like in any large family, everything has their strengths, their weaknesses. Our wines go some great with lamb, some great with pork. Some of our wines just go great with charcoal briquettes as they're lighting up a barbecue. It just depends.
What do you look for in a perfect Pinot?
Well, Pinot Noir is not like any other wine variety. It's not big and heavy and syrupy. It's not robustly tannic. It's not purple. Pinot Noir is elegant. It's very lithe. It's actually lighter than most red wine varietals. It has to have a sense of place because Pinot Noir is all about the soil. So I think it has to have that classy elegance. It has to have varietal character. It has to have great fresh fruit aromas. It has to have sweet spiciness, and then that distinct earthiness that we love about Pinot.
Now, I see that you're also venturing into Chardonnay. Is that wise in the Willamette Valley?
Well, the Oregon Chardonnay story is very sordid and dark, and it goes back to the days when the pioneering families first came up in the 60s, the wine pioneering families, I should say. This wasn't the Oregon Trail, but when they brought up grape cuttings from California and put them in the ground, they were just cuttings they had taken from California vineyards. And fortunately enough for us, the Pinot Noir that they put in the ground worked really well. The Chardonnay that they had brought up was made to ripen in California, not in Oregon. So the early years of Oregon Chardonnay were real hit and miss, but did not really carve out a great reputation for Oregon Chardonnay. That has all changed in the early 90s. Some friends of mine, notably David Adelsheim, our neighbor down the street, went back to Europe, to Burgundy, France, and through the Minister of Agriculture, the University of Dijon selected new vine cuttings, brought them back through Oregon State University, put them in the ground, and Oregon Chardonnay has started over. So now we are making world-class Chardonnays in Oregon.
So I am very curious about your own wine tasting. Has your tasting evolution changed? Do you believe that your palate will continue to change as you taste new wines and exciting wines?
Yeah, I think all of our palates change as part of our anatomy and physiology. As our bodies change, we react differently to things. I think that as you get older, you learn to love things differently, or you learn to love different things. And with wine, I think you start out, it's very natural to love wines that hit you on the back of the head. They're very powerful, and there's a wow factor. And me personally, as my wine tasting is evolving, I like more nuance, more subtlety, more food friendliness. There are those really powerful, impressive wines that get a lot of 100 points and 99 points. A lot of times I'll have one sip and I'll think, I can't finish that glass. It's not going to go with my meal the way I want. And for me, the perfect glass of Pinot is you have one sip and you go, uh-oh, I could probably drink that whole bottle. It's really tasty, you know. And I think that's what you want, is this mouth-watering kind of, ooh, that's yum. So
your winery and the tasting room is open 7 days a week. So why don't you give us an idea of what someone would experience if they went out to the tasting room?
Sure. Well, we are known for our really professional, friendly staff. We're open 7 days a week, which is actually pretty rare in Oregon. There are a lot of tasting rooms. A lot of wineries are open by appointment. But to have a tasting room at a winery on an estate vineyard that's open 7 days a week, there are not many. And so we are, the doors are open and arms are open and bottles are open. And normally our goal is to show everyone a really good time, educate them about the wine, show them where each of our vineyards comes from, why they're different, give them a tour of the winery if there's time, and then introduce them, of course, to the wine clubs, which is by far the best way to get our Pinot Noirs and Chardonnays.
You save some of your best stuff for your wine club members, don't you?
Yeah, the wine clubs used to be in America that wines that tasting rooms couldn't sell went out in a wine club shipment, and you'd get a white and a red and the marginal quality, and so people thought wine clubs were interesting. Nowadays, we retooled them at Bergstrom to be very special. So only our best wines go to those wine club members. And then to go along with that, we have very special dedicated events where we do outdoor barbecues, tastings, we have musicians come and play, and we do real focused events. We'll even do library events. We just did one recently where we opened up a bunch of wines going back 6, 7, 8 years. So we really try to prioritize their experience.
So just before we leave, because we talk about Bergstrom as a family winery, and you have the long view of Bergstrom wines, and it's got a lot of heritage already, I'd love if we could meet John and Caroline. Bring them down just to say
Mom,
hello.
Dad, Caroline. They're both here tonight pouring wine, so they're also very bashful.
And we want to invite everybody who is here in the audience tonight to sign up for the wine club if you like. It is an incredible thing to be involved with Bergstrom Wines. In just the short time that I've known Josh, I've learned so much about winemaking and what it feels like to be part of the Willamette Valley wine culture. So thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
And once again, here they are, Caroline Bergstrom and John. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
My father.
You've got a plastic cup, sir.
Yeah. So tonight we're pouring the Rosé and the Chardonnay Old Stones, and we're also pouring 4 Pinot Noirs tonight: the Cumberland Reserve, the Shea Vineyard, De Lancellotti Vineyard, and Bergstrom Vineyard. So my dad, Caroline, myself, and Carolyn Sconebell will be pouring, and we'd love to answer any questions and talk to everybody.
And thank you all for coming and being a part of this very special night. We appreciate it.
Cheers.